Alright, so I'm pretty much done the base for that 2-cylinder Onan generator set that I showed you in the last video. I think it came out pretty well. See, I got my lifting eyes on there, one on each corner. So it's a 5/8 piece of threaded rod running from one end to the other and a lifting eye threaded on the outside. I mounted these big square washers on here with a couple 2-inch screws, countersunk the heads. So you got these washers here and this central pipe, kind of like a sleeve, so that it doesn't, when I tightened it, it didn't crush the thing together. Did that all the way on the other side. So, and I got these runners here, let it slide a little bit easier. I kind of tried to contour them to the front of the wood here. It came out about the best I could do. So, and countersunk the screws. We got dogs running around over there. Countersunk the screws and had to hit them with the grinder because didn't do quite the best job that I would have hoped, but it's nice and smooth now at least. So let me flip it over and show you the top. So here it is, the top of the base of the skid. It's got 2 coats of clear varnish on top. The top's kind of roughed up because I had it flipped over, which probably did that in the reverse order. I probably should have waited till the end to paint it or stain it and varnish it, but it actually kind of gives it a little bit more of a older or worn look. It's not supposed to look new. You know, the idea is that it's going to get roughed up and, you know, beat up going to shows and everything, so I really didn't want it to look too nice. I just wanted it to be strong, which I think I've accomplished that. So time to get the generator set on it. Stand by. Okay, so it's all mounted up now. Got my square head bolts on there. They look pretty good. It's hanging pretty level. I suspect that the engine is well, I should say it's quite a bit heavy in this end compared to the generator end. So if I take a step back, looks like it's sitting a little bit low in the generator side, or in the engine end rather. But that's alright. See, I got my square washers underneath there to prevent the wood from crushing through, and the generator itself has nice feet on it. I think I said this in the first video, but I can't believe in the whole life of this generator that these feet never broke off. It's usually, I mean, on a piece of equipment like this or little machines like this, there's always a broken foot somewhere. I don't know how many pieces of machinery I've bought in the past that always have a broken foot, and that's the worst. So I wanted to make sure I got it on a nice base as quickly as possible to prevent a catastrophe. I'd be really upset if I broke one of these feet myself moving it around. So now it's safe. So time to actually get working on it. Like I said before, they had it plumbed, or the previous owner had it plumbed to a remote tank. I imagine because the base tank here is all full of rust and just nastiness. But I didn't see it first. It looks like there's an inspection plate right there, or at least an access plate to the top of the tank. So if I pull the generator, which I'm going to do anyway, to clean it and inspect it, I'll pull this plate too and see if I can maybe clean the tank up as best I can. That's a good handhole, so I should be able to clean this whole back area of the tank really well. So, and I mentioned before that the rubber isolators or bushings in the coupler here are all dried out, and you know, I guess they shrank from age, so there's backlash in the coupling here, which we'll have to get rid of that because that's just going to hammer itself to death. So other than that, it shouldn't be that big of a deal to get going. Get some decent battery cables on here. The oil in the sump is nice and clean. So probably just drain it and put some fresh 30 weight oil in there. I haven't had any luck trying to find a manual for this particular generator set. So I'd kind of just be winging it, but it's not all that complicated. I don't know if that's original or not. I imagine it is. It's interesting looking at this carburetor, how it kind of doesn't come out at a 90-degree angle. It kind of angles up for some reason. Is there a... I don't think I've ever seen a carb like that before. Zenith. So, like I said, this was owned by a collector previously. He passed away and his, collection went up for auction. It's been a number of years since this was run. I've been told it's probably been about 20 years since it ran. So, but it looks like it was owned by a collector. Everything was taken apart and cleaned, it looks like, and ran for a time. Nice thing is that I made the base big enough so that none of my straps hit any part of the unit. So that's good. Got clearance all around. So, because it looks like this has been hit by something in the past. It's kind of on a weird angle, but I'll be able to straighten that out. There's the adjustment for the brushes. Looks like a witness mark there, maybe, in there. Voltage adjustment. Is it? I don't know, I'll have to look into that, because the brushes look like they're fixed in the generator end. Oh, yeah, that's probably the AC. These are probably the AC brushes. Those are probably the DC brushes. So, other than that, that's about it for this one right now. Now, while I have you, I want to take you over to another unit that I picked up just yesterday. Another Onan. Take a walk. Alright, so here's the other generator I picked up. Picked this up just yesterday. I've never seen one of these in person before this one. And I've only seen a couple pictures and maybe one or two videos on the internet of these. I don't think there's much information about them around. It's an Onan set. It's sold under Fairbanks tag. Fairbanks Moors. It's a V45S-20, and I believe that serial number indicates a build date of October 1945, but of course made by D.W. Onan. It's pretty greasy. It's been sitting for many years. Now, as far as I can see, it looks like it probably shares a number of parts with the more common, like the two-cylinder inline Onans, like the W. I think there's like W2S and W3S, things like that. I've owned one of those in the past, but I never got it running. I ended up selling it for parts. But I've been wanting one of these for quite a while, just because they're uncommon. So I bought it from a guy who bought it from an estate of another guy who passed away. So it turns over right now, it makes 2.5 revolutions and then it stops. So it's probably got a stuck valve or two. The guy I bought it from pulled this right side cylinder head here. Said it's got a couple stuck valves. And the story he got with it is that, it was used on a farm for outbuildings and such, and they took it out of service when they got utility power ran out to these buildings, but before it was taken out of service or decommissioned, they had issues with lights flickering while this thing was being run. So this back cover should be loose. It's probably something pretty simple. Either the engine speed was fluctuating and that was causing voltage dips, or it's got a stuck brush somewhere. Really doesn't look that bad at all. Yeah, all these brushes are pretty stiff and crusty. It has been sitting a number of years since it was last run, probably 20 or 30 years. So, but in a barn, not out in the weather. Yeah, they're all pretty stiff. I don't know if that's stiff from sitting for 20, 30 years or what, but it'll all have to be taken apart and cleaned and inspected. Looks pretty good inside there. I'm wondering if the wiring schematics for this unit are shared with the more common two-cylinder versions. Number 3. Number 1. There's all your remote start connections, it looks like. You got your hand start or electric start. So yeah. Oops, sorry. So this will be a fun one to work on. Like I said, there are a couple videos out there, but not many. And if anybody can provide a wiring diagram or a manual for this, you know, either in paper form or in a you know, file or a PDF or whatever, that'd be great. So thanks for watching.